Welcome to KaiChi Live. I'm KaiChi, and this is my review on DuckTales 2017. Season 1, Episode 4, titled The Great Dime Chase. So in this episode, Scrooge McDuck saw how Louie was being lazy and decided to take him to his office to teach him a hard day's work. We get a side plot, I guess an overarch plot. Basically, after we see like in the last episode, the first two episode, the premiere episode, we saw that he know that their mother, Della Duck, was part of the team with Donald Duck and Scrooge McDuck during their adventure days. He went to Webby's room, I guess, to find out more information about his mother, Della Duck. This is where we find out that any information on Della Duck was gone or removed, and we get a hint that Scrooge McDuck might be the one who did that. Dewey then asks Webby where do they find more information on his mother. After they arrive to the money bin, this is where Scrooge, trying to teach a hard day's work to Louie, and we see Dewey and Webby tagging along and also getting away from them. Webby takes Dewey to Scrooge's private archives, I guess a library. This is where we meet, I forgot her name, but I think her last name was Quackfaster. She basically runs Scrooge's private archives or library. This is where we see Webby and Dewey have a trial adventure with Quackfaster. Basically, the trial master. Basically, sent them on certain trials in order to get more information on his mother, Della Duck. Back to Scrooge and Louie. Scrooge was still trying to teach Louie about how to, if you want something, you need to earn it. And by doing that, doing a hard day's work. But eventually, they had a meeting with the board. It turns out the board wanted to basically shut down the money bin, since it's a waste of money. This is where we see Scrooge, trying to defend the spending on the money bin. And this is where we get introduction to Gyro Gearloose. Okay, the thing is about him, he's definitely a different version of the original incarnation. In the original incarnation, he was more loose back and more friendly. But I guess in this incarnation, it's a nice twist. I enjoy it. He's more like a mad scientist. And for some reason, that's said by the board, most of the invention became sentient and becomes evil, which is I got a great laugh about it. And also, we also get introduced to Little Bulb, basically a little robot with a bulb. So after Gyro tried to convince the board to invest in this idea, the board decided against it. And we see Scrooge siding with him, and then we see Louie seeing how it's a great idea. As Scrooge, why not? This is where he mentioned that the part of hard working is to work with others. In this episode, we also get the story of the number one dime. After Louie, get away from the meeting, I decided to go to the vending machine to you get something to drink. A pillow. He assuming that it was an emergency dime, and he used it. When he got back to the meeting, this is where he overheard about the number one dime story. This basically set off the episode how Dewey tried his best to get the dime, basically going up down the stairs because the elevator was preoccupied. Eventually he ended up some kind of wheelbox outside from a coin collection room. As always, after Louie convinces Gyro to get the robot, and him mistreating the robot became evil. So basically, they would get a bunch of scene of the little bulb and the giant robot chasing after Louie. Eventually, he went past Gyro. And Gyro, we see Gyro taking a pad, so this is basically an Easter egg. It was some odd robot, and there was a third one. Her name was Ren Robotica. Basically, the butler maid he created for Scrooge McDuck went crazy and fell in love with. Oh right, it was Gizmo Duck. So basically, cross out the good and evil and had put Little Bulb on the evil side. Back to the Scrooge arguing with the board, and the board he going through how they should fire the employees, Quackfaster and Gyro, and all of a sudden, of course, the little boat crashing in, and this of course shock everybody. And Scrooge basically said that it's true. Okay, it's fine. Fine, fire them. If you fired them, since they if they fired them, they would want to seek revenge. And this, of course, convinced the board not to fire them and agreed to let the money bin be ways as it is. Eventually, Louie was able to get the dime back, and Gyro was able to, I guess, control Little Bulb. Back to Webby and Dewey. So basically, near the end, when they tried to fight off Quackfaster, basically like throwing books at her, and Dewey demand for Quackfaster to tell him about anything about his mother. And Quackfaster mentioned that he looked at the book, and we see the book was titled "The Life and Something of Della Duck." And of course, Dewey decided. And when he opened the book was basically blank until a page noticed by Webby, basically a Dewey death row system. Webby take Dewey to the a section of the archives, so they could look for the book, I guess, or place back the book. So basically, we see a scene of them, sorting out the books until they place all the books, including the book of the Della Duck book. A scene where basically a light showed up to a panel, and we see a handprint, and we see Dewey placing his hand on the handprint, and we see him getting pricked by some kind of mechanism, and we see a door open. I don't know who created the room. I'm going to assume that Scrooge had the room built. We see like a big room dedicated to Della Duck, basically all the information. I guess if I remember correctly, we see a big portrait of Della Duck on on her plane, and we see some kind of pirate stuff, some kind of other artifacts. At this point, this excites Dewey. He wanted to bring his brother in until Webby noticed a letter. It mentions something about I guess if I remember correctly, it says, "Scrooge, I'm sorry. I have taken or stolen the Selena spear," and she was sorry. Webby mentioned that maybe his mother betrayed Scrooge, and that's the reason why she's gone. Maybe she went into hiding away from Scrooge, and since they don't know what's going on, they decide to hold back, not telling Huey and Louie about what's going on. Overall, this episode was good. We see Scrooge being Scrooge, that he believed in hard work, and that's the reason why he doesn't like deadbeats. He didn't want Louie to end up like one of those deadbeats, and decided to take him to the money bin to show hard day's work. In the end, he does, but it's a cartoon. Sometimes it doesn't end up that way. The character usually reset. And back to Dewey and Webby about finding more information about Della Duck. I'm glad that they didn't kill her off, because like in the beginning of the episode, Dewey mentioned that how Della Duck that she was gone. Maybe she was gone because she went to hiding, and she might betray. Betray. It seems like she might actually betray Scrooge by stealing the spear of Selene. We don't know what's exactly the spear of Selene. If I remember correctly, the name Selene is basically something Egyptian, I think. It's one of the gods, Egyptian gods. I'm not entirely sure, but it does seem, it might be that. But we don't know until, find out more about it. And so basically find a little bit more about, Della Duck, which is really interesting. She's actually going to show up. That's a good thing, because it'd be the first time ever she actually shown up. And we also get introduced with a new character. Basically, her name is Quackfaster. She's definitely a new character. We might not see her in future episode. We might. Who knows? It seems like across the episode, she probably. I guess she wasn't ordered by Scrooge not to tell anyone about what happened to Della Duck, but that's interesting. And we also like this new incarnation of Gyro Gyrolos, about how he's very different from the original one, and also throughout the episode he mentioned Blatherskite. Blathering Blatherskite is like basically like a catchphrase. We usually don't hear from Gyro, but we hear it from the other characters basically. So basically, in the end of this episode, we see Gyro going through a list about how it's out of order. How Gyro created robot go crazy, Gyro control robot, and Gyro becomes a robot, and we see at the end Project Blatherskite. So that's where he created Gizmo Duck. I don't think he actually becomes a duck, becomes a robot, but basically created suit armor. So you'll get Gizmo Duck. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, hit that likes button. Go over here to watch my previous videos on DuckTales and other videos, and go over here. Subscribe to my channel, KaiChi Life, for future nerd geek videos. Thank you.